Hi, this is Julie with Beadaholique, and in this video I want to show you some pieces that are part of the Vintage Designer series. And I want to show you a few ways of really embellishing and altering these pieces. They are great foundations for jewelry designs. So let me show you a couple of the pieces first. You can see they're very highly detailed, and they're in this wonderful natural brass color. There's a great bee here, a nice leaf. So some really interesting pieces. And they're very easy to really make come alive and make pop. So one way you can do that, like we have this bird here, we can take the Vintage relief block and just sand across the top of it and pull out some of the shiny brass below. And you can see how that really comes alive, and you can do as much or as little of that sanding as you want. So that's one option. Another option is to paint them with Vintage patinas. So here is the before and here is the after. And it was really a very simple process of just using the relief block to pull out some of the shiny brass below and painting it with patinas and then gluing it to a cuff and doing some wire wrapping to match. And then another great option, and I'm going to show you how to do that right here, is to embellish with little flatback crystals. So I made this earring here. Nice, simple but elegant design, and the foundation for it is this little connector piece. And I want to make the earring here in the video just to show you really how easy it is to do something like this. So we're going to be using the connector, which is part of the Designer series by Vintage, a pearlescent white coin pearl by Swarovski, and the Vintage earring finding, and also a head pin, and then some of these SS5 Swarovski crystal flatbacks, and this is in Crystal Paradise Shine, a real pretty purple color. So the tools we're going to need is we're going to need a crystal katana, or if you have a toothpick with some beeswax or a magic pick, whatever you want to use to go ahead and pick up these crystals and apply them to the finding. We're going to be using some GS hypo-cement glue, a pair of cutters, a pair of wire looping pliers, and chain nose pliers. So it seems like a lot of tools, but it really does come together very quickly. So I'm going to put a piece of plastic, and it's a little baggy, down on my work surface because I'm going to be using glue and I don't want to get it on my cloth. And I'm just going to start by putting some dots of the hypo cement on my connector here. So this has a really nice pointed tip applicator, so it's very fine. And we've used this in the design space, so it's got a little bit of dried glue around it, but yours will be very clean if you purchase it. So I'm just going to put these dots of glue. And I'm putting a dot wherever I want a crystal. And it's nice because this doesn't dry super fast, that I can actually put that many dots down and still be able to put the crystal in it. And I apologize, it's a little hard to see to put that needle in from a distance. Normally I'd be a little closer to it, but I don't want my head in camera. So here we're going to go. We're going to just take the tip here, this nice sticky tip, pick up a crystal and set it down into the glue. And we're going to repeat and do that for all of our dots. I'm not worrying right now that they're exactly centered how I want them. I'm going to go back and do that in just a minute. All right, so now I'm going to turn the katana around, and with the pointed end, I'm going to press them a little bit more firmly into the glue and also make sure that they're right where I want them. And I'm going to let that dry, and as that is drying, I'm going to take my pearl and place a head pin onto it. Then I'm going to take my wire looping pliers and just grab it right above the pearl and squeeze, and that just created half the loop for me. Pull the wire down, rotate the pliers to the top, and pull that wire so it crisscrosses itself. And now we've made a loop. Right where it crisscrosses, I'm going to just go ahead and snip it off. And now what I want to do is I do want to wait probably a good 20 minutes or so before I go ahead and apply the earring hook and the pearl to the base. Now that our glue is dried, let's take this piece and turn it into an earring. So really simple here. We're just going to take that little loop that we made and we're going to open it. Oops, got to grab it first. Open it like a jump ring. And then we're just going to slip it into that bottom open work piece of the link. Close that loop back up. Go ahead, take our earring hook, open that loop the same way, slip it onto the top open work section. Well now, that's why you want your glue to be dry before you do this. And we're going to close it back up as well. So those are now done. And we have 3 different ways to really embellish these Vintage Designer Series pieces. You can add rhinestones to them. You can use that relief block to pull out the shiny brass below, or you can paint them with patina. And of course, there's other things you can do as well, but these are just 3 different design ideas on how to really quickly and easily alter these beautiful vintage pieces. You can find everything you've seen here, as well as written instructions for these projects at beadaholic.com.